In last week's episode, we got rid of the old and moldy canvas and ordered a new fresh setup.
We used to have a heat gun on the boat, but I seem to have lost it since we left Mexico. I don't know if I left it on the boat or if it was lost in the transportation. But now I have borrowed a heat gun and I'm going to start to remove the old name on the boat so we can get our new sticker on with the new name, Ron 2. So as you saw on the stern of the boat, the old name is still visible, even if I have removed the actual sticker. And that's because the sun has, the environment, it's different oxidation on the surface. And also there's still glue on the surface. So I will try to remove the old sticker totally, so you can't see any difference on the surface. So I will start, the way I will do that is first I will start with acetone and thinner to try to clean off the old glue. And after that I have to use a sanding paper with a quite fine grit 1000 to sand the whole surface to remove any oxidation of the surface. So it will even out, even because now the sun hasn't reached the surface that used to sit under the sticker, so there's a difference in color really. So I will sand the whole surface, and after that I will use a heavy rubbing compound to even out the surface even more, which is finer than the sandpaper. And at the end I will use a wax to even out the surface, so it will have the same how do you say, shininess on the whole boat. So I think I will start with trying to use the thinner, because I think that's best to remove the old glue. Yeah, that came off pretty easily. But the problem now is that the boat is pretty dirty in general. You can really tell now when I have cleaned this surface that it's really white, and the rest of the boat is quite dirty. So I think I will clean this surface with just a sponge and water to remove the dirt around it before I'll start sanding this surface. It's time to try the sanding paper. 1000 grit wet sandpaper. So it's a very fine paper. Let's try. Det är bara den biten där som är grävd. De måste är det bra?
Okay, so we thought we should share a little bit of our sailing plans for the year.
Yeah.
So we plan to start sailing in a month from now, in the beginning of May.
Yeah, if everything goes according to plan. And with the current situation in the world, it's really hard to tell. We just have to take it day by day. But at least these are our plans, and then we'll see if it will be possible to do them. But
yeah, so since we have our boat here, We have a new crew member. We thought we should sail back home here in Sweden. And we haven't sailed a lot here. And we wanted to share that with you because it's such a beautiful country. We have several archipelagos.
Yeah, and a really long coastline on both sides, both on the east and the west coast of Sweden. So
we're gonna start sailing south and go to the east coast of Sweden, all the way up to Stockholm, our capital, which has a big archipelago.
Yeah.
And then the big thing is we're gonna go through Göta Canal.
Yeah, and that's a canal that goes from between the two coasts. So we will take the route from the east coast to the west coast, and it starts a bit south from Stockholm in a place called Mem. And it exits in Gothenburg, which is the second biggest town in Sweden, where there's also a really great archipelago. So we'll do some cruising there as well. And a really cool thing with this canal is that it goes through two of the biggest lakes that we have in Sweden, Vättern and Vänern. So I'm really looking forward to that, to do some sailing on these big lakes, and there are some really nice towns to visit as well.
So just some short facts about the canal. It's 190 kilometers long. It has 58 locks, and I think it was built in the beginning of the 1800s.
Yeah.
And max height of mast is 22 meters, and so our mast is...
I mean, I don't know exactly, but it shouldn't be taller than 21, so we should have at least a meter.
Yeah.
So it should be all right. And and then when we have been cruising the west coast, we will slowly head south again down to Malmö, where we are now. And then we don't know, because our plan is to leave Sweden at the end of the summer and sail south, but with the current situation, with a lot of countries in lockdown and so forth, we don't really know. But that's our plan: sail south, maybe come down to Spain and Portugal before winter sets in. And then we haven't really decided where we're going to go. If we go to the Caribbean, or if we go to Brazil. But
but I don't think that will be this winter.
No, we don't know.
We're gonna decide where we're gonna spend this year's winter.
Yeah.
If we will be in the Atlantic, or if we'll go into the Mediterranean. But we'll have to wait and see. But I hope you guys are as excited as we are for this coming cruising season. And I think you will like to see some sailing from Sweden.
Yeah. So now we go back to some boat projects. That's what we are doing right now at the moment. Try to keep to ourselves and just fixing with the boats and prepare. So let's continue.
Yay! We're talking. Sjunger du i stolen? Så det är den här kanten här. This edge on the lid of the navigation table. This is so frustrating because it's too high. So it's really impacting when you sit here and you have to bend your wrist. And it starts hurting quite fast actually. Because otherwise this is a great workplace because you're separated from the salon table. But I think we need to do something with this because, I mean, there's a reason why we have these edges. When the boat is heeling, the paper charts that is meant to have on this table shouldn't fall off. But the boat doesn't normally move in this direction that much. So it's not really a big risk that anything would fall out from this direction. So I think we can take this down to this part here, and it will work so much better to sit here and will be more ergonomical. Hey, Eskling!
So of course, first I tried to remove the lid because this would have been a lot easier to do outside on the dock with the electrical planer instead. But it wasn't really possible to remove the lid. Of course it's possible, but it would have been a lot of work because yeah, I couldn't reach all the screws and had to take off a lot of pieces to get the lid off. So I decided to do the whole thing with this small hand planer instead. And it's not a big major job, so this will be pretty fast. Just do it this way. I just have to use the vacuum cleaner instead. This isn't very easy to find the correct position of the name, because you can't use any measurement really. You just have to use your eyes and see if it looks good. And now we think it looks good, but that's from that angle. When you're standing here, it will look a bit tilted. But that's just how it is, because the whole stern of the boat is not straight. No, there's no straight lines. But to me, the most important thing is that when you're standing behind the boat at the distance, that it looks okay from that angle. So that's what we're aiming for. And I think it's okay now. But we'll see.
And if something happens, we have...
Yeah, we have some
spares.
extras
Yeah.
if it goes wrong. So...
Let's go.
Let's go. So the way to do this is that you do it in 2 steps. To keep the position you have been putting it in, like it is now. So I just put some tape up and down and on the side, and then I can remove this one. And then you have some scissors, and you very carefully open it up like this. Then if you want to, you can take that tape again, just put it there. So now we take the scissor.
No scratching on the gel coat.
It's off. And then you use a scraper like this. And then slowly you put this piece back. And now we're going to open it on this side and remove the back side, and then do the same thing on that side. So very slowly remove the back side. And then again, the scraper. Yeah, this is a bit harder because it's in that direction and I don't want to fall in the water.
And the wind is coming.
Yeah.
So.
Pretty straightforward.
Ooh la la.
And especially at the edges, you should take it carefully when you go over those. And now you can take this side with this, what do you call it? Filt. What's that in English? What is it called in English?
Filt.
Filt? You sure? No.
I
I don't know. And you just see if there's any bubbles or anything like that that you need to remove. Try with this one first. And if that doesn't work, you can take the other side. What do you think?
Oh, this is so fint. It looks really nice.
Should we go over to the other side and
Yeah.
see how it looks?
Yeah. Are you happy?
I think so.
I think it looks really good. I think we found a good position. So now only thing that's left is to do the ceremony. I guess you're wondering why we're sitting here in the cockpit with a bottle of champagne and 4 champagne glasses.
In a pretty windy day. It's yeah.
Thursday afternoon and it's quite stormy outside.
Yeah.
But we are doing a name ceremony.
Yes, we have to do something, and especially before we take the boat out of the marina to go sailing again, we just had to do something.
Yeah. So 2 glasses are for me and Johan, and the other 2 glasses are for...
Yeah, one is for Ron, the boat, and the other one is for all the deep sea gods and goddesses of the world. And as you might know, or the story behind the name of our boat, Ron, she's the deep sea goddess of the Norse mythology. And she's also the wife of Aegir, who's the deep sea god of the Norse mythology. And it's not very clear if she's a nice goddess or not. I don't think she really is, because she's dragging down drowning seamen with her net to her big rooms at the bottom of the sea.
Yeah.
So the story goes.
And she kept them there.
Yeah.
I think alive.
Yeah.
Even, but they were captured there and they couldn't escape. And they had 8 daughters.
8 daughters.
Aegir and Ron, they had 8 daughters, and they were all named after different types of waves.
Yes.
So when we had our old boat Ron, we also renamed her. And we named her Ron because we thought it was a name with connection from our heritage, from where we're from, and it's a short name.
Easy on the radio.
Easy on the radio. So of course we wanted to keep the name now for the new boat.
Yeah.
So she's now called Ron 2, as you saw.
Yeah.
And now we're gonna do a little sacrifice in the water to the gods and goddesses and on the boat too.
So it's not the Royal Australian Navy.
No,
we got that out of the way. A lot of people have been asking over the years what's the name of, or the meaning of Ron.
Yeah.
So now you know. So yeah.
Vera, you have to wait a couple of years.
Yeah.
Skål.
Skål. Let's go.
First time I drink champagne since before I was pregnant.
Yes. And of course there's, I guess, many different ways to do this, but this one was a good way to do it, we think, and yeah, and a
nice one.
Nice tasting one too.
Yes. To all the deep sea gods and goddesses, bring us luck and keep us safe on the big oceans. And Ron 2, bring us many nautical miles and many adventures. So now we've officially renamed Ron 2.
Yes.
Skål.
Skål.
As always, thanks for watching. Thanks to viewers like you, we can keep the series going, and we really appreciate the support.